Welcome back to another episode of Just Say Yes with Dr. V. I am your host, Benita Bernardo, your favorite holistic physician. Just Say Yes is a podcast where we are introducing you to the idea of getting back to your original design based on the original intention that God created you for. And it's a lot easier than you think. And so last episode, I introduced the trifecta of healing, which included lifestyle change and community and God. And so we're going to start to break down the trifecta. The lifestyle change piece has about 8 components. And one of those is managing stress. And so today I wanted to talk about chronic stress, what that does to your body, the science behind it, and some things that you can do to lower your cortisol levels, which is the stress hormone. It's entitled Do Not Worry because at the end of this, I'm going to share with you a video that I did after our Monday morning session, Miracle Mondays, where we took Philippians 4:6, and we did exactly what the scripture said. Do not worry. Tell God what you need, and then give him thanks. And so we did a journal exercise, and it was really, really helpful. I'll just say this is really atypical because right now I'm doing this from my bedroom. Normally I'm upstairs in my office. I've got sound and lighting and all the things set up. I've got hair and makeup. I've picked my outfit. I've done all of it. Today I just put on some earrings and some lipstick because for 2026 my word is consistency. And sometimes being consistent means that everything's not going to be perfect, but it will get done and you will make progress. So what's important is that you all get this information, not that you see my beautiful face, perfectly made up and everything is perfect, but you need this information. All right, so let's just get into it. Just think about the fact that we're mammals, right? But we're animals and we come with certain natural instincts. So back in the caveman days, if we sensed that there was a predator, we would be on high alert. If we were confronted with a predator, we would then go into what we call fight or flight mode. And now they say fight, flight, or freeze, and even fawn. Fawn is like you just try to appease the threat, like people pleasing. But anyway, we are wired. We have the parasympathetic nervous system, and we have the autonomic, autonomic. We have the sympathetic nervous system. And so the parasympathetic is rest and relax. The sympathetic is fight or flight. And that was meant for acute stress. Okay, there is a bear. You see the bear, you're going to run or you're going to fight. What happens when that happens is cortisol, which is the stress hormone, increases. You have adrenaline. Most people kind of know what adrenaline is. It gets you revved up and gets you going. That's when we hear people doing like superhuman things. And then there's also norepinephrine. And there's something happening in your body when all of these hormones are circulating. Your heart rate is going up. Your blood pressure is going up. Your pupils dilate so you can see better. All of these things are happening. Your body's not focused on going to the bathroom. It's not focused necessarily on anything that doesn't help you escape the danger that you're currently facing. So fast forward thousands of years, we don't live in caves anymore, but we are faced with stressors. And so these days, the stress is not a bear. It's maybe stress at work. It's stress with your children. There are times where we are supposed to be stressed and then we return back to baseline. But now the way we live, there's something called chronic stress. Acute means right now, chronic means long term, right? So what we have to understand is that when we're stressed, the cortisol hormone is elevated. Cortisol is, people get cortisol. If you ever taken steroids, it revs you up. It can make you jittery. If you take it for a long time, you start to get, face gets really round. You start to get fat around your middle. But this cortisol hormone, which, has its own place, it actually deposits visceral fat, which is the unhealthy metabolic fat, which it is working, and it's not spitting out good chemicals. It's spitting out cytokines that's causing inflammation. And inflammation is not our friend. So the cortisol levels are up. You're depositing weight in your middle. You are probably more anxious as well. Probably is more anxious. And so we're not meant to stay in this state of high cortisol levels. There are some things that you can do that can bring your cortisol levels down. Some work quicker than others, but you're probably going to be familiar with some of these. And again, these are some things that are in the trifecta of healing under the umbrella of lifestyle change. So exercise brings down your cortisol levels. Getting sleep brings down your cortisol levels. Going out in nature. Y'all don't get me started on phytochins. That's a chemical that is produced from the trees and it relaxes you. But getting out in nature, doing some type of creative activity. So like painting, or I've discovered diamond art. Y'all go look that up. It's amazing. Anything that kind of takes you out of past and present and puts you into the moment. So that's meditation, that's yoga, that's all of these things that get your mind off of the thinking brain and are moving you more into the relaxed state, which is the present moment. So you definitely can use some of those techniques. In therapy, you might hear a lot about breath work. There's a box breath that if you breathe in for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. Then that box breath takes you out of that revved up state and kind of brings you back into the parasympathetic rest and relax. So it looks like this. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4. And you do that in a cycle. So breath work is very effective. But also prayer. Prayer is effective, which leads us into the exercise that is going to follow this. So prayer, meditation are things that help bring you into the now. It also connects you with a higher power. So it's taking the weight that you feel and putting it at the feet of the one that you feel is in control of your life. So it's almost like, you know what? I'm in this rocky terrain. I'm trying to drive. It's not looking good. Let me get out the driver's seat, and God, you get in the driver's seat. So I'll sit in the passenger seat. That takes the burden off of you. So just a little bit about chronic stress. Just remember, we were never designed to be stressed all the time. Cortisol levels up all the time are not good for our body. It puts us at risk for creating inflammation. It deposits visceral fat. And there are very simple things that you can do that are free, that are not supplements, that you can do right now that will bring your cortisol level down. So I just want you to explore more of the things that I asked you to try, and listen to this exercise. So stay tuned. You're getting ready to hear about how not to worry, how to get all of the clutter and the things that are stressing you out of your mind, and dumping it onto a paper. All right. Until next time, this is Dr. V, your favorite holistic physician, signing off. Take care. All right. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday. I just got off of our Miracle Monday call, and I had to share this with y'all because this was about 2 or 3 sessions of therapy, because we talked about worrying today. Now, I, as a physician, know that worrying is not just worrying, that it really is having a physiological effect in your body. Like, you talk about balancing your hormones. Cortisol is a stress hormone, and it is unbalanced in most of us because we're worrying. So go ahead and bookmark this because this was good. First, we read a passage from Thank God It's Monday. Excuse me. And she talks about even after all she knows, she still worries. Even after everything, that all the good things that have worked out, that she is still worrying. And we had a discussion about that. And I in particular realized that I don't worry about breathing. I don't worry about my heart beating. Those are things that God has, and those are out of my control, so I can't even worry about it. And I don't even doubt it. I even said that I don't even worry about waking up in the morning, and hold that because that's going to come back. But what I realize is the things that I have control over, those are the things that I worry about. And if I'm being obedient and doing exactly what God told me to do, it's going to work out. And I know this because I've done it before, and it always works out. It doesn't look like what I want it to look like, doesn't happen when I want it to happen, but it works out. So we ended up having a mini Bible study. So we went to Philippians 4:6. This is NLT. Don't worry. Yeah, I got to put my glasses on. Why am I trying to be cute? Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He's done. All right, this is the money. All right, you're going to start journaling. Anything that you are worried about today, yesterday, last week, or you're worried about something coming up, I want you to journal. And this is how the format. This is right from Philippians. It says, instead, pray. All right, so you're going to write, Dear God, or just God, comma, this is what I'm worried about. These are my concerns. All right? Tell Him what you need. I'm worried about this. God, this is what I need to happen. This is what I need to happen. This is what I want the outcome to be. All right? Tell Him what you need. And then thank Him for all that He has done. Thank Him for all He has done. Now, when I wrote mine, I said, thank you for answering my prayer in the way that you know is best, and help me to see that it's you. Right? So that's an exercise. I also talked about brain dumping. When you can't sleep at night, whatever you're worried about, have a journal, piece of paper at your bedside, and just blah, 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 write it all down, and then go on back to sleep. Just get it out of your headspace. But that's the format. When you're worried about something and you just keep going over and over and over again, pray about everything. Tell God what you need, and then thank Him for all He has done. We then read Philippians. We read Matthew 6:25 through 33. I got this written in my Bible. Look, this is colored. It's highlighted. Do I still worry? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Don't worry about tomorrow. Matthew 6:34 says, do not worry. He said, I can clothe the birds and the lilies, and they've got everything they need. Don't you know I'm going to take care of you? Yes, Lord, I do. Why am I still worrying? It is not, one person said that it is actually a command. He has commanded us to not worry. To not worry. Don't is a contraction, right? Do not. That is a command. That is like, do not commit adultery, do not murder, do not worry. He has commanded us to not do it. So someone said, that they got that from their pastor. It is a command. And I'm just telling you all that it is not good for your health to worry. It is not good for your health to worry. Do people worry? Yes. And is there a clinical diagnosis for people who worry and it impacts their life? Yes, it's called anxiety. And that can be clinical if it's starting to interfere with your life. So I'm not saying, if you got I'm just saying anxiety is a clinical diagnosis. And if you need to seek help, seek help. If you can't sleep, you can't eat, you can't move forward in your life, then maybe you do need to seek help. But I'm telling y'all, God has already provided in His Word. All right, so the last thing, remember I said I physically wrote that I don't worry about waking up in the morning. That's not something I go to sleep worried about. Well, actually, at the end where we do prayer requests and praise reports, someone was seeking prayer for their friend whose sister actually died overnight. Over the Thanksgiving holiday, they were having fun, they were laughing, playing, doing everything the night before. Next morning, she was not here anymore. She passed away overnight, and she was mid-60s. Nothing seemed to be wrong. She has a young adult child, and they're just in shock. But wisdom came on through one of our sisters, and she said, consider this, that we always, when people talk about their death, they always want to go peacefully. They want to go peacefully. And usually that means in your sleep. So she went peacefully. God called her with Him. And she is now absent from the body, but present with the Lord. And we know those things are good things. But usually when we want to have a reason or to prepare for someone's passing, the person is actually suffering. If you think about somebody dying from cancer, they're going to a million medical treatments. They're having surgeries. They're doing chemo. They're sick. They're in pain. They usually end up in hospice and are, sedated. And it is a long process. It can be years that they go through this. And it is a suffering to some degree. And so consider that someone who was taken unexpectedly, peacefully, that there is some comfort in knowing that they were called home in that manner. It doesn't necessarily help in the immediate shock, but it does bring you some comfort that, the night before they passed, they were laughing and having a good time with family and friends. So anyway, I'm just so thankful for our group. It was such a good session. I've got 2 pages of notes from journaling this morning, and it has set me free. It has set me free. I don't have to worry. I'm not worried. I'm going to be like these old folks that I do medical evaluations for. They ain't worried. They retired. They ask, what am I worried about? They ain't got nothing to worry about. So I hope that was a blessing to you all. And get subscribed to us. You can go on to our website and get on our list so that you can come on and participate in Miracle Mondays. All right, y'all have a good day. Have a great week back at work.